Hey, welcome back to a new episode of Church Advance Podcast. I'm so excited about the release of Rescued, our family's adoption story. First of all, I want to thank you for all of you that have pre-ordered the book. We have had a tremendous response to that. And I just wanted to remind you, during the month of August and into September, you can still pre-order the book. You can go to bryansams.com/rescued and order it there. That'll have a copy shipped to you directly on September 24th when it releases. Or you can right now go over to Amazon, type in Rescued by Bryan Sams. The pre-order for the Kindle edition is now available, and it is an exciting time for us. I hope the book will richly bless you, and thank you for your support, and check it out today.
This episode of Church Advance is brought to you by servehq.church. You know, Bryan and I have worked and talked with many pastors over the years, and one of the common biggest frustrations that they're experiencing is getting volunteers prepared and feeling that frustration of them being unsure with what to do. They'll spend hours each week trying to train new people, but you know, there's always a lack of consistency, and it winds up burning many leaders out. Well, that's where Serve HQ can really help. With easy online training, built-in accountability, and automated reminders, your team will now be better trained, more confident, and more engaged, without you having to do any of the heavy lifting. If you've ever struggled to get your volunteers trained and ready, check out Serve HQ today at www.servehq.church. That's www.servehq.church.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Church Advance Podcast. Today I'm live in the studio with my friend Dan Purdie, who's a return guest. Dan, welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, absolutely. So excited to talk about basically your journey to becoming a fitness coach, as well as specifically your vision and mission for fathers and ministry leaders and others, really all of us, I guess, to take serious our health. And so we brought you on to talk about that. I want you to just introduce what you're doing and introduce why you're doing it, and tell us a little about yourself.
Awesome. Yeah, before I introduce myself, I'd like to just kind of say I'm really happy to be on here, excited about this conversation, because I know the heart of this podcast is leadership, specifically leadership within the church, within our communities, and within our homes. And while most of us in ministry are constantly focused on spiritual leadership, one area that I've noticed that gets overlooked often is how we lead ourselves physically. Our personal health our health isn't a personal issue. It's a stewardship issue in my mind. And it directly affects our energy, our focus, our clarity, our patience, and ultimately the longevity of our calling. So my mission isn't to turn ministry leaders into bodybuilders by any means, but to help ministry leaders realize that in order to lead, we have to model discipline. And that includes how we treat our bodies, because our families and our churches are watching. So ultimately, if we want to give God and those we lead the best of us, not what's left of us, then we have to take this seriously. So I'd say that's kind of my mission up front. And then you had mentioned what got me into it. I think having kids is ultimately what got me into it. Just knowing that it's my responsibility to take these kids, care for them, and ultimately raise them in ideally the best conditions that I can afford to provide. And so that caused me to deep dive into health, fitness, and then essentially model myself to follow the behaviors that I want them to follow when they grow up.
Absolutely. So there's two really important targets, I think, for just the people that are listening to us. First would be, of course, ministry leaders, as you already mentioned. But I love what you've been saying, some of the posts even you've been making recently on social media about dads and just men leading our families. And you've really dialed in on one or two specific things I want to drill in a little bit here. One is just being an example. It's very hard to expect those around us to do anything for that matter, let alone our health, when we aren't setting the pace.
Yeah, 100%.
And it wouldn't take anybody much research in the health world to realize that our children, the children of our nation, are suffering from poor nutrition habits, poor exercise habits, not getting outside, and all those things. I think the question comes back to me: who's ultimately and really responsible for unhealthy kids?
Yeah.
Certainly not our nation or our school systems. I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's
us
the parents.
As fathers.
Yeah.
It's really us as fathers. And I know the Bible tells us to be equally yoked, but we're the leaders in the family. And so it's on us to step up, take that initiative, and be the leaders. Is it hard? Sure. Whatever. We got to do the hard things. That's our calling. That's our responsibility. We took that responsibility on when we got married to lead our wives and lead our families. And so it's not our wife's responsibility to optimize the health of our family. And if we are equally yoked, they will want that once we start leading in that area. But I think the initiative lies on us as fathers and busy dads to just do the hard things, do the extra things that you're tired and you don't want to do the research, or find someone who's going to help you learn these habits and build this discipline for you so that you can model these behaviors for your family and be the leader that God called you to be.
Yeah. And, we don't often talk about this, I think, in ministry conversation, but I think it needs to be talked about. I know I can speak from firsthand experience in the last year here. We often overlook the connection between physical and emotional and spiritual related issues. And they are a spiritual concern. They're a spiritual concern, but they're also a leadership concern. I think of at least three things in the scripture that encourage us. You got the plain fact that Paul tells us that physical conditioning has temporary benefit. It does benefit you. And that's inarguable. Science, of course, is going to back that up. But the second thing is just the spiritual nature of who we are, that I wouldn't pollute myself spiritually intentionally.
Yep.
So in the same way, my body's the temple of the Holy Spirit, so I shouldn't want to pollute myself physically either.
Yeah.
And we do that all the time. Yeah. I mean, just all the time.
Well, it's prevalent. It's everywhere.
It is. I mean, we've gotten into I think, Dan, one of the things that really stuck out to me and my wife as we started our health journey about a year ago now, and was that this wouldn't be easy. It's basically completely changed my wife's life.
Yeah.
I mean, basically making food from scratch and being careful with what the kids eat and avoiding certain things that we know are toxic or damaging to our health. And what I have found refreshing is the intentional choice that we made to do that. It's had positive effect on me, on Angie, but certainly on our kids. But it didn't come without heavy research, help, and then of course time.
Yes.
And so let's talk for a minute about the convenience aspect and kind of where it's got us.
Yeah, 100%. That's actually something I wanted to touch on too.
Yeah, sure.
Because I think that's everyone's biggest concern in this, like you call it, an Amazon next day delivery society where we're all focused on having things instantly. We want our Hot Pockets. We want everything fast. So when it comes to eating and making it sustainable, that's where meal prepping comes into play, where you're prepping dishes in advance, especially for like lunches and stuff, to take the fatigue out of eating and prepping things. So at least your lunches, maybe even dinners, have core ingredients that are pre-cooked, and you can utilize those. And there's multiple recipes that you can utilize core proteins and core carbohydrates. And so you can cook in bulk and then use that over a couple of days to really simplify your lifestyle rather than cooking, fancy recipes every single night and kind of burning out. Or maybe it's difficult to find fancy recipes that adhere to like a healthy lifestyle. So
yeah, I know we have found that meal prepping over like a 2 or 3 day period, when you talk about taking that fatigue out, there's real practical things like we're all busy. I'm here at the office, Angie's working all day. Then it kind of like get done with that every single night and think about, basically having to go make food essentially from scratch. I mean, I'm not out here like slaughtering cows or anything, but I mean, like not buying packaged, processed.
Yeah, you have to be intentional. Yeah.
Yeah. In order to do that, it absolutely takes time.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of levels of that. I kind of joked about homesteading. People will do that, or at least get to somebody who does. But I think for those of us that live in a city and homesteading is not on the, it's not next, still basically buying and making what we would call whole foods. When we talk about whole foods, just basically, what do we mean by that when we say just talk about whole foods?
Yeah, we're really just talking about things God made.
Yeah.
So just core ingredients. So we're talking about a protein source like a chicken, beef, whether it's steak, ground beef, turkey, ground turkey. So just core proteins, and then whole food items, vegetables, potatoes, rice, quinoa, things that God made that are minimally processed. Obviously, a lot of that stuff is processed to some degree, like, ground beef is processed technically, but it's minimally processed. And then a lot of fruit. God's put these things in our lives. Fruits are convenient, carbs and protein take a little more time. So that's where the meal prepping comes in. But God designed this food for our bodies, and our bodies are designed to heal themselves if we provide it with the core, like the raw ingredients that it needs. So I think when we start buying boxed and bagged goods, that's when we start to get into the danger zone. And it's okay to live a little and have a little bit of that, but maybe like a 80-20 rule or a 90-10 rule where you're minimizing the processed foods and just prioritizing whole foods.
Yeah. So, basically, I like the, if we just go buy something at the store and hold up, it's really simple. You can turn and look at the ingredients.
Yeah.
And if it's like 75 ingredients and half of which you can't pronounce, that you're going to find in like frozen pizza or some other, that's not a whole food.
Yeah.
But
there's no reason you can't have pizza Friday night.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah.
And you really helped me with that too. Cause when I was first starting last year, you talked a lot about like not being hard, like not stressing over.
Yeah, don't feel guilty when you do enjoy something that isn't necessarily in whole food.
Because you basically flipped the script, right? You've gone from where 90% of what you ate was bad to 10% maybe good, like maybe you had an apple, to flipping the whole script around to where the majority of what you eat is whole food. And then the occasional going off the path makes it a lot more doable for your body even. And I think the problem is when you don't have any whole food and that's just not the staple, and basically everything you eat is processed, everything you eat is high fat, it's just really bad for you, then it's hard to get ahead eating in a world like that.
Yeah, we've really got to shift our mentality away from viewing processed foods as a convenience item and viewing them as a long-term inconvenience. Because even though it might save you time in the short term, it's not going to improve your health in any way, and you're going to have a list of issues down the road. And so it's really not going to be a convenience at all.
I saw somebody post on social the other day, you better start eating healthy now because your doctor's getting his degree with AI.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So, it's like, one person said it like this: you either make, time for physical fitness now, or you're going to make time for physical illness later.
Yeah.
And there's way too many things going on in our culture, whether it's autism or diabetes or heart disease, that are directly connected, that people over their lifespan who do not take care of themselves are going to have illness later that is unquestionably food induced or lack of exercise or any combination of the both. And I've seen people who will throw out like the exception. Like, I know a guy and he ate bacon every day. I mean, I suppose there could be an exception, but we certainly don't want to build our whole life on I knew someone who did eat the Hot Pockets.
Yeah, we are not all genetically equal. Some people can eat like that and they will stay thin, and arguably their quality of life is fine because they look healthy. And there's other people that are just inflamed and they have a list of issues and they're not able to do that. So, yeah. Yeah,
100%. So I like this. I want to comment for a minute on, the leaders last year, I put a video out there and talked about it last year, how God made some of these things really clear to me. And it's been a year of learning and growth for me, but we have completely altered the way that we eat and the consistency of exercise and some of those things. And I haven't hit all my goals yet. I've still got goals to hit. But to me, it just came down to a core conviction that I have young kids still, even though I'm 47, and I'm going to be 60 when my youngest graduates high school.
Yeah.
So it's 60 is very realistic to me.
Yeah. 60
is right around it's just right there. And I'm thinking, well, what do I want to look like and feel like and be like when I'm 60?
Yeah.
That's not going to happen by accident unless I change something. And far too long, I had let the busyness of ministry and convenience of eating and lack of time for no exercise dominate. And when we flipped that, and basically for now a year, it's been, consistently 6 days a week in the gym, some lifting, some cardio, and then basically a whole food diet. Some of that was vegetarian or plant-based, and then some of it was more protein source. But either way, both categories produced loss of weight, mental clarity, fog gone for the most part, and mobility, which I know is something big deal I'd like you to talk about. But I just think I'm looking at, do I want me to be there for my kids, number one, and number two, do I want to be able to do what God's called me to do for a long time without self-induced health issues?
Yeah.
And that produced in me the absolute need to change. And I'm just wishing, honestly, I would have gone back in my 30s or 20s and started, because it'd be much easier for me now in my 40s. Yeah. But hey, listen, the best day for anybody to get their health under control is today.
Oh, 100%.
And so, but tell us a little more about, you have now gone into where this is now your space. You're giving yourself to it. Just tell us a little bit about how that came about and what made you want to, basically be a fitness coach.
Yeah. Well, I think I've had this desire for a long time. I just had trouble committing to it, perhaps. And I think a lot of that was personal healing that I was going through. I didn't feel, I think a lot of, as an adult or as a dad, you get guilty and you're like, well, I don't really feel like I can help other people because I haven't fully figured it out myself. Whether that's with being a better dad or being a good husband or maybe your vocation. And I think it boils down to having grace for yourself. But ultimately, I think you helped me process those thoughts out. Just collectively, what am I most passionate about? And then ultimately for me, it's just faith, knowing God will provide, that as long as I put out the value and I have something that can help other people and I'm working to help them, that it'll work out. But I like what you said before about how you feel, or you were talking ahead and you were like, how am I going to feel when I'm 60? Like that's something enough people don't focus on. So no one, like that knee issue you have when you're 60 years old started when you were 30. That back pain you're going to have at 65, that started at 40. The heart issues that you have at 70, those didn't just start at 70, those started back in your 40s, your 50s. So people need to spend a little more time thinking about what kind of longevity and quality of life they want to have and what do they need to change in their life now in order to have that higher quality of life and to be there for their families or for their ministries down the road. Yeah,
100%. Everybody knows people that are hooked up to oxygen, walking on a walker. They literally, even if they don't use some sort of device to help them get around, you can see it. You can see it when they stand up out of a chair. You can hear it in their moans and groans. Their inability to do certain things. I mean, I had people that wanted to go to Israel with me, and they started asking questions about what's it like, what's the hiking like, and I'm like, man, if there's gonna be some stairs. Jerusalem is in the mountains, and there's gonna be some movements. We're gonna go to the Mount of Beatitudes. It's not like rock climbing, but it's walking up a hill, walking up steps.
Yeah, and you're not training for the intensity level that you're going to be doing in Jerusalem. You're not doing that on a daily basis, are you?
No.
You're not walking all day and hiking all day.
Yeah, no.
Exactly. So I think a lot of people just need to realize that they can tackle this in small portions, that they can time block out and just have designated time to train mobility, train strength training, partition your nutrition. And that's really going to be sufficient it's going to be a huge step in the right direction.
And but I mean, even like more tangible, like let's just use Israel as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say that anybody listening here is like, I would like to go to Israel, but I'm concerned about, can I get around? I mean, just that in and of itself.
Yeah.
Just think about that being a small microscope of a much bigger issue.
Yeah.
Should I be in my 40s, 50s, even 60s, and that be a
realistic goal?
Yeah. Well, I mean, a realistic concern. Like, we shouldn't be there, right?
Yeah. No.
Like, you should be thinking, hey, I can go walk a couple miles. I can walk up a set of stairs.
Well, everyone has such sedentary lifestyles because we're so entertained. We have so many things going on that we don't just go out and get that walk in. We don't have time to go to the gym because we have other things we're doing. When if we're being honest, we're probably watching a show at night and stuff. And there's other things that we could be doing with that time. But yeah, I think just there's an issue specifically. I mean, it's probably worldwide, but definitely in America, just sedentary, where we're sitting too much and it causes knee problems, back problems. And then people are concerned like, hey, I don't know if I can go on this hike. Well, you gotta work on that. We gotta reverse these issues and lower our biological age on our joints and stuff so that we can actually have a fulfilling life.
Yeah. I just think it's sad when it's something that could be solved, that you're letting eclipse the effectiveness. And I think about ministry, man, I'll tell you, I have a job that requires me to do a lot of thinking, a lot of praying, a lot of content creation, frankly. The ability to onboard emotional related things with other people. I mean, my day started today at 6:00 here in the office. And I mean, there was a man in here weeping over something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's first thing. I've been up about an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm bearing, pastors are bearing the loads of people, the burdens of people. Some days like today, this is a Wednesday we're recording. So this is like a 14-hour day for me. Look, man, if I don't want to be sitting in that chair over there, slumbering over into naps in the afternoon and not being able to function properly because I'm not fit enough. I'm not exercising. I'm not eating correctly. And those things all happen. That should be a concern. I mean, I think about this, Dan. I can't give God or this church or my family the best of who God wants me to be. And I think they all deserve more than that. So before we get into like the way I think you've done this before. I'm kind of putting you on the spot here a little bit, but you mentioned, you kind of toyed around with it a little bit, but what are just like a handful of things that somebody could do right now without feeling like they got to go nutso, but just like a handful of things right now you can do today that is absolutely going to improve your quality of life?
Yeah, to keep it super high level, if they were to prioritize their protein, get movement in every single day, and that's very open to interpretation, but just get movement in and hydrate. Yeah. Those are three things. You're going to see such improvements. High protein, you're going to see some weight loss, especially with movement. And then hydration is going to help your body just to work properly. Those are three things you could do right away. Yeah, so those are super high level, but
but it's great. So you could, a simple swap. Like, if I'm not, there might be somebody out there listening and you just drink coffee all day or you just drink sodas all day. You could make even one simple swap is definitely going to improve. Yeah. I sometimes even here at the office, I'll just intentionally say, you know what, it's 1:00 in the afternoon. I'm gonna do these phone calls today, but I'm gonna stroll the parking lot. Yeah. And it's super simple. I'm not running. I'm not really breaking a sweat, but I'm out. I'm in the sun.
You're not sedentary.
I'm not sedentary. I'm moving. And I think there's much more we should do or could do. Man, there's a switch that everybody can take to kind of get up and get going. I would, my challenge to the pastors listening is, man, we can't afford another week, another day, another month, year of just not doing anything about this. If we want to be the best in the pulpit, the best with people we can be, we need to take some steps forward. So, talk about, what you're doing now. What are some of the focuses you're doing as far as your coaching that you're actually helping people with? What are some of the areas that you're really working on?
Yeah, so this has been really fun, like last 2 weeks, because I've been just in straight creation mode, putting together DIY packages for people to both kind of just, it's like a one-time DIY package, kind of covers the basics of, say, like meal prepping, the basics of training, stuff like that. And then I also have one-on-one coaching options where I do a full, it's going to be a full nutrition, meal plan, shopping guides, training programs. Everything's 100% customized for the individual person based on where they're at. And it's really exciting because you get to see people that are stuck in a space of confusion with all these options and all this information, kind of just giving them a blueprint and being like, follow this, and just kind of like taking away the guesswork. Yeah. It's like a relief. And it's, for me, it brings me like joy to see that and to provide that service, and then to help those people and get them to their goals and see them.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we've talked tons. Obviously, Dan's here at our church, and he's a deacon at our church, and we've talked so much about this, not on cameras, but I know personally that you've helped me enormously in thinking on a macro level about, macro goals and different things that I would have a hard time going out and doing all the research and just coming up with it on my own, even weight training, what kind of things to be doing, what to focus on. I would highly recommend anybody to. Sometimes it's just that simple. Like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do, but I know this. I can't afford not to do something.
Yeah.
So you sent me the other day was it an assessment form?
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to put that up with this post. So just, I'm assuming an assessment form with you be like a first step toward a conversation.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it can be a first step to a conversation with me, or it can just be me helping you analyze where they're at right now. But that assessment form is just kind of have them look inwardly, kind of see where they're at and see kind of what their goals are, and then present a next step solution.
Yeah. So that we're going to put that on the show notes to connect to that. It's a simple step you can take to really do some evaluation, which would lead to a problem solving concept that Dan's certainly more than capable to help guys with and provide. Yeah, man, it's so great. I'm glad. I want to make a couple comments on you. Just another angle of this I think is really good about you taking your step of faith to do this, to follow basically a dream and a passion. I feel like you had a burden, a God-given desire, and you were kind of doing an 8 to 5 thing, and I love the fact that you have fully engaged with your family, fully engaged with the church, and just really kind of sold yourself out to serve the Lord. And now he's kind of put this in your path. And basically you stepped out and said, I'm going to follow what God's put in my heart, which I think is incredibly admirable. It's an admirable step for anybody. It doesn't have to be a career path. It could be anything. God's putting something on your heart that you need to do. It helps you because you love it. It helps others, and that's a driving motive for any Christian, I think. And then of course you're bringing skill and expertise to the arena that just so many people don't have. Man, I just want to say, I think that's awesome that you were willing to do that and take that step of faith.
Well, I think I didn't really introduce like a lot of my backstory, but yeah, so my son's 8 years old now, and that's when I first really got into health. I was already into fitness, so I was already working out at the time, but I wasn't into health yet. And then he had a lot of allergies and stuff, so I had to really deep dive. So I have 8, almost 9 years now of just researching everything that we eat on a daily basis. I've built out my pantry based on the best brands, and that I've thoroughly researched the background. So with all that research comes the availability for me to take a lot of like the guesswork, because there's so much information out there and there's a lot of biased information. And I provide a very objective way of, this is based on the research and everything available. These are the best options in my opinion. And then, so these options have helped me now that I have jumped out and I've made this like my full-time passion and vocation, where I'm putting together all these different guides and stuff. So I have like a fasting guide that I'm putting together where it's going to explicitly it's an entire blueprint of how to do a 3-day fast with what you should be doing, what to expect, what your body's going through, the health benefits, but then it takes all the guesswork out of it so that you know that you're optimizing and keeping yourself safe during that fast and then coming out of the fast. And then even things like gut health resets. So I'm putting together all these different informationals that people can utilize to reset their gut, to optimize their gut health, to optimize their health, their shopping. So it's a lot of fun now because I have almost a decade of research, and now I'm actually, I've kind of given into what God's been, I feel like, telling me for a long time I should do, but I just was resisting. But now I'm able to actually provide this information, and already I've had such an overwhelming amount of support and people that want the information because, well, I don't know, but I guess because it's readily available and and I would like to think I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, absolutely.
Point,
I mean, we did we did a class right here at the church that you had, about 20, 25 people, where you went through some of these things. I know my wife was in there several of the weeks. I know the information was so helpful, and it's just striking to me how people, I feel like in some ways, American culture has just been lulled to sleep by something like what they call the FDA, and where it all sounds so great. Like, it's like the FDA approved or this approved. Then you get into it and you realize, well, yeah, but we're still being poisoned and we're not eating correctly. And so there's just a huge vacuum of information. I would say with that, I think there's a huge surge in interest, because I think, when you start seeing like the things that are happening with our children, and I know that's what started it with you. And we have a son who we discovered has serious negative reactions to food dyes, and we didn't know it.
Yeah.
But when we started,
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
It was nuts. And in fact, it was not too long ago, he inadvertently had some, and we were not in control of the situation, and he didn't know. And man, I'm telling you, man, he like shot back into like berserk. Yeah. And there's so many kids out there that are on different meds for different things, different conditions. And a lot of it can be connected to food.
Yeah. The raw ingredients that we're eating. Yeah.
So I think you are providing.
Can you double down? So when you took those out, what did you notice with your son when you took those ingredients out initially?
Oh yeah. Actually nothing, because what we did, to the positive.
Yeah. On the positive side. So when you cleaned up the nutrition at home, how did you notice that affect your family?
Oh man. Like, specifically with your son? For instance, my son has, I don't know if you've heard of these they're called tics. Basically little, a lot of times nervous reactions. It might be like a grunt or like a overly blinking. Okay. You ever heard of Tourette's syndrome? And extreme forms of those people have Tourette's, and we began to wonder maybe he's got something like that. Well, when we started seeing some of these connections to food dyes, processed sugars, all these things, and we were like, hey, let's just pull all this out. I was already kind of doing it, and then we were like, we're not just doing this for us. This is going to be good for our kids long term. Oh, immediate calm, an immediate. If he still gets worked up, some of that comes, but we're able to really talk him through that. But it was no longer this steady, almost anxiety, chaos, and it just everything settled in. On the positive note, what we found is kids are so resilient. Number one, most kids just love fruit. Yeah. So everybody who's overloading their kids with sugars and candies. A lot of times just a simple switch to fruit. And it wasn't easy the first week, especially like with Brent, my older son, because he's like balking it. Man, what's up? Where's the chips and all this kind of stuff. But you know what? In time, we found healthier options. Yep. And they're good. Yep. Let me give you an example. I make like twice a week at my house, homemade Snicker bars with dates as a base. And, one guy calls dates God's candy. Yeah. Incredibly sweet, you really can't have too many of them.
We have them in our house all the time.
Yeah, I mean, we just have, dates everywhere. But, you take that, you put some peanut butter, dark chocolate melted on it, and some sea salt. And I mean, it's like a candy bar, but everything's organic, everything's whole. There's no processed ingredients in it. And we just made a swap.
Yeah.
We don't buy Snickers. We don't eat candy. Yeah. We don't eat Skittles and food dyes. So what we did was we kept our refrigerator filled with sweeter things, but it's all God's sweeter things.
Exactly. And
then my wife, what she does is she goes in on usually Sunday evening, and she's going to take all those vegetables and all those fruits and just cut them all up and jar them so they last longer. And then what I'll do is during the week, we bought these stainless steel little, we call them snack boxes. Yeah. They're like bento style boxes. And so the kids aren't coming to us every 5 minutes saying, I'm hungry. Yep. No, we just have, everybody's got a snack box. You got one for the morning, one for the afternoon. And the kids, I mean, they'll eat that nonstop. It's just, what are you going to do? Yeah. Right. And so I know it's healthy, like generally healthy, but when you see a situation immediately upon you, we've got a kid, Connor in our church. Yeah. He's a wild man. He is an absolute wild man. He's a good kid, but he's just a wild man. And his grandparents who go to our church, they've stopped the food dyes. I mean, he'll come up to you and ask you at like a dinner, is this guy dying? Well, what's that tell you? The parents have told him, this isn't good for you. And so, do kids like Skittles? Of course. I mean, yeah.
And I come across that. And parents are like, well, my kids won't eat that. They only eat like 2 things for dinner. And I'm like, okay, well, who's leading?
That's exactly
who's leading the house?
That's exactly right.
Like, I mean, your kids don't know any better. Their minds are literally, the dopamine is skyrocketing when they eat these things that are engineered to make them want them.
That's what Angie's been talking about recently, is the food business, the food industry, I guess, is designed to keep us dependent on it.
Yeah. And well, specifically like the processed food industry.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So like, all the processed food companies, they want you to buy their processed food products. And if you're not buying them, they're not making money. So they have to make them palatable and desirable. And so, so when kids only want those, like, who's buying them?
Right.
I mean, in our house, I just don't buy that stuff.
That's right.
And my kids don't have that choice. And I've never given them that choice. But when I talk to other dads that are like, oh, can you make my kid macaroni because they won't eat salmon? I'm like, well, I mean, they won't eat the salmon if you make a macaroni every time, because you're the one teaching them that they can get whatever they want. And not that this is a parenting episode.
But think about that. No, it is. It's so good. Just think about what you're saying to a kid who basically tells you what you're going to eat. What does that same kid tell you when he's going to sleep? Or
probably. When
you're going to go to the church, or when you're going to do this? It is a micro shot of a much bigger issue. And did my kids all like it at first? No, but my job as a dad is not to, my number one priority is not to give you what you want. Yes. A kid doesn't understand what he or she needs.
That's right.
They can only discern what they want. And I think it wouldn't take somebody listening to this 1 hour to go on and look at some of the exchanges that you can make and get with you and see that it's not that complicated. And the way we handle that with our kids is very simple. You're going to get whatever we make you, first of all. Here's your plate.
Yeah.
And when they look at me and say, we don't want that, I'm not going to eat that, then I say, no problem.
Yeah.
If you're hungry, it'll be sitting right there.
Yep.
So that in an hour when you are feeling this, you're not going to come and say, I want this. No. And you do that. Angie always cracks up because she'll say, because these kids are growing, they're eating a lot. And she'll say, one way I can always know if they're really hungry is I just offer them green beans.
Yeah.
And if a kid's willing to eat a cup of green beans,
they're probably
hungry, right?
Yeah, and that's a similar way we measure it. If my kids have already eaten their portion and they want more, I'm like, okay, well, do you want more of the protein? Because our bodies naturally create a satiating hormone that tells you when you're full, but only when you eat protein, not when you eat carbs. And that's why you can go out and eat a big dinner and then order a big ice cream after and eat the whole ice cream, because it's a carbohydrate. Our body doesn't register that the same way as it would be like another steak. Like when you're stuffed, you can't eat another steak.
Yeah.
That's because your body knows that that's protein and it's saying, no, I'm full. But then if you can order that ice cream and you're like, oh yeah, I'll smash an ice cream. So when my kids are like, yeah, I'm still hungry. I'm like, well, do you want more protein? And if they say yes, then I'm like, all right, you can have some carbs with it. But if they're not willing to eat any protein, that means they're full. So it's like teaching them. Like that's our responsibility as dads and leaders, is to teach these kids.
Well, that's why I love what you're doing, Dan. I mean, we're not just talking health. Health is the platform, but it's the platform through which you are providing education and information to people about leadership.
Yeah.
That's what this is about. And that's why we're having this conversation on this podcast, because you'll go off from here. You guys that are listening, you should. Dan's email, Dan's social media pages, Dan's the assessment form, all those things are going to be in the show notes. You want more info on that, like the details of that, that's certainly what you should do. But I think for now, the real issue here is about who's leading who. And I'm telling you, man, it's hard to make a case to lead others when you are having trouble leading yourself. For example, one other thing, bouncing back to pastors for a minute, that it was convicting for me, and here I am, still not about halfway to where I want to be. I'm making great progress, but it's not where it needs to be. But I think to myself, if I throw those 20 pounds back on, I'm like, what business do I really have telling somebody to be disciplined in a spiritual realm? Yeah. And yet there's obviously something that's controlling me. That's not God, not the Holy Spirit. And I think when we start having that conversation, people start getting uncomfortable. Yeah. But you brought up the word discipline, and what can I as a spiritual leader really tell somebody? Let's just be honest about it. When it comes down to things like alcohol use or something like that, isn't the real issue predominantly about who's in control? I mean, the Bible even would say, be not drunk with wine where it is excess, but be filled with the Spirit. Be controlled by the Spirit. Don't be controlled by that. Yeah. So the real admonition in the New Testament is don't be under the control of something else.
Yeah. I think people call those vices. Right?
Yeah.
Having a vice of sorts. Yeah. You
something
have to have it.
Something. I mean, even the fruit of the Spirit is self-control. So plug in whatever topic you want to plug in. Yeah. We should not be controlled by electronics. We should not be controlled by loving to sleep. Right? People are controlled by that, so they'll not fulfill responsibility to sleep. Yeah. Or food, alcohol use, whatever other thing you want to throw in there. Sometimes it's just like phones. How about phones? Yeah. Screen addiction. If I can't put something down and it's having these effects, if I can't set my phone down at dinner and engage with my kids, it's controlling me. So can I put it up? Yep. So if pastors are constantly in the business of encouraging people to only have one thing controlling them, which is the Spirit, then we really need to pay attention to this, because I think it's got a hold of more of us than we care to admit. Yeah. And I think that's the danger zone. Then it has all that negative effect personally and with your family.
And it's probably even more challenging for you in the position of leadership that you're in, because you have both your family but also an entire congregation that you're leading who are looking to you for essentially how they should live their spiritual lives. But then they're also holding you in this position of mirroring your discipline. So it's like, are you implementing the habits that you would want your family and congregation to be implementing in their own lives?
Absolutely.
I think, yeah.
Well, I mean, the pastoral qualifications say plainly that a pastor should be able to manage his own house, because if he can't take care of his own house, how can he take care of the house of God? Yeah. I mean, there is, in fact, I think that's what the word elder is implying. There's somebody who's a spiritual statesman, as it were, somebody who can provide an example. Yeah. And I admit, I brought it out to the world a year ago, that was not me in the physical world. And I wouldn't by any means call myself the example, but the steps, and you and I know, the things we've done at our home, the things we've changed, and I would say we're there, and our kids know that it's not us eating one thing and expecting them to do another. I mean, we're out there on the front line doing it.
Yeah, and that's where it's a stewardship issue, like I was talking about, and that's been a big thing for me, is focusing on that stewardship element, and dads as a whole focusing on that stewardship element, because it's more than just our lives or caring for our wives anymore. Now we have a family. Now we have people in our communities that are potentially looking up to us, and we have so much more responsibility and things to steward properly. And then that's where it gets into the whole I'm tired, like why me? Like, why do I have to be the one to do this? Well, why not?
Yeah.
Like let's be strong about it. Like let's just do the things that are difficult, whether we want to do them or not, because it's our responsibility. And then, I mean, ultimately, God's given us things that He's given us things to steward, and we're ultimately going to be like judged on how we steward those items.
100%.
So then it's even a step further. Like, I mean, this was not an overnight transition for me by any means, but I think, the stewardship element, and then it's where it's not our own personal health anymore. It's a stewardship of our family, our personal health, how we're viewed by the family, setting those habits that we want them to grow up and mirror.
Jerry Vines, a preacher, said one time, if you can't improve one part of your life without improving all of your life.
Yeah.
It was actually in a chapter about physical health in a book on preaching. And I remember that statement stuck out to me. It's so simple, but it's so true. When one thing gets better, the whole of you gets better. So you make it mental health, you make it physical health, you make it a better reading regimen, you make it a better sleeping regimen, whatever, plug anything in that you get better at.
Yeah.
That means the whole of you benefits. And I think I kind of view physical health and Christians in the 21st century, specifically in America, because we're by far behind everybody else in the world. Even some of these debates with Kennedy about like Europe and what they allow and their foods. I mean, it's not even arguable that 50 years ago in America, virtually everybody was much fitter.
Yes.
I mean, I saw a picture of a candid snapshot from a beach photo.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
Yeah, I've seen a few of them.
And it's there's nobody overweight. I mean, they're all trim and thin and look good. Well, then you go to other countries, and that's virtually the way everybody is. And then you come to America, where so many things like heart disease, obesity, all those things are so rampant. And but if we can just view improving this one area of our lives to be the thing that is a catalyst for improvement in the other areas of responsibility, I think that's the mindset that you've got to have.
Yeah, it's got to be, you've got to completely harden and transition your mindset to want to do things that are arguably uncomfortable, that you don't want to do. It's always more fun to stay home and just relax. But we have to find a way to enjoy and implement into our lifestyle to do the things that are necessary to be the leaders that we need to be. So then I actually had a question for you. With your busy schedule, and I feel like this is something that it's not just in the ministry, but it's straight across the board. People are like, oh, I don't really have the time. I'm working too much stuff. How do you find the time, specifically just you, how do you find the time to like go to kickboxing, like the class we went to last week? Like, how do you find the time to fit that into your schedule? Because a lot of people are going to say, well, I don't have the time, or I don't, there's a list of excuses, but how do you find the time personally?
Two things.
Because you have a lot going on.
Yeah, two things immediately stand out. And yes, I do. College is getting ready to start up, and busy church, man. And I've got 5 kids, as most people know. Two things immediately stand out to me to answer the question. Number one, I wake up early. So I get up early. I don't always want to get up early.
Which means go to bed early.
You got to go to bed early. Yeah. I mean, there is a limit. Like people, that sleep would be a whole nother episode probably.
Yeah.
But we have to sleep.
And how many hours are you trying to get?
Okay, so 7 is my target.
Yeah.
And that's 10 to 5. And if I get out of that, if I get out of bounds there, I can't do that for very long. So like for instance, coming up here in a couple of weeks, I got one of these crazy trips, like a red-eye flight. Yeah. That's going to mess me up. I already know that. So I have to be prepared for the fallout of that. It's going to probably take me a day to recover. So, but on normal days, like this is a relatively normal week, I will be in my bed by 10 o'clock. My kids are in bed by 8:30. My older kids know that by 8:30 we are done. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we turn the screens off by 8. So I have at least 2 hours of no screen time, mm-hmm. no TV, no phones. And we even changed the setting on our iPhones to take out the blue light. Yeah. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
So instead of wearing wearing the glasses, we just turned it down. And I think that's cool. So I go to bed, I get up early, number one. So I accomplish 2 hours of personal enrichment, devotional time, mm-hmm. sermon prep, other things. I get 2 good hours alone, private, personal, before my kids get up, before my day gets going. And that carves out a lot of time that a lot of people miss. The mm-hmm. second thing that I do is I put a gym in my garage. I know that not everybody gets a chance to do that, but I have a trigger. Mm-hmm. My trigger is when I get home, I work out. So when I go home today, I'm going home for a little bit this afternoon on a Wednesday. First thing I'll do is I'll get home and I'll jump on the bike. Yeah. And I refuse to let it go. So a lot of times in the afternoon and evening is when you're tired and you're like, man, I don't know how much more I've got to give to my kids and stuff. Mm-hmm. So what I do is I use that mid-afternoon, late afternoon as a reset. Yeah. So I go home, and in our garage, the kids have a track too, like a bounce track, if they want to get in there and play too. But I'm going to get there, mm-hmm. and I'm either going to lift or I'm going to cycle mm-hmm. for 30 to 45 minutes.
Do you ever feel guilty taking that time away?
Absolutely not. Okay. Absolutely not. Because I know that when it's done, it's such a small amount of time when mm-hmm. you really think about it, that I'm going to be better. Yeah. I'm going to be better. I'm absolutely not going, I refuse to not work out. Mm-hmm. It is going to be a part of every day. Yeah. Last night, Angie came up here to the Zumba class, and I just told her, hey, while you're at Zumba, I'm hitting the gym. I lifted last night. Mm-hmm. Today, it's going to be cardio. My kids, they'll come out there with me, man. I love what you do with your family. I mean, mm-hmm. your family, your kids were there at the kickboxing thing the other day. Why not? So for us, we have little small dumbbells, like 2-pounders. Yeah. And man, my kids love it. They'll do, while I'm on the cycle, they'll do box jumps up on mm-hmm. the bench, and they'll do their tumbles and different things. Now they're doing jujitsu, so they get in their little, what's that stance called?
Yeah, the uki stance.
Uki stand. They get in their uki stance, and like Blake and Braxton will wrestle with each other out on the thing. I'm like, great. So I give them the freedom. Here's what I don't do. I don't say, you guys get lost. I need this space. Mm. Yeah. If you want to come out here and tumble and fool around, great. If you want to mimic the exercises that I'm doing, I've got a little tiny bar, I think that weighs about 10 pounds, like a barbell, mm-hmm. miniature barbell. And I mean, when I'm doing bench, mm-hmm. the kids are on the mat.
That's so good.
And
that's leading.
That's leading. And I'm doing arm curls. I might be doing 30, 35 pounds. They're over there with 2 pounds. It doesn't mm-hmm. matter. Yeah. I'm on the bike. They can't ride the bike at the same time. They might just be running around. Sometimes we actually put what's called brain break or Zumba class for kids up on YouTube on the garage. Yeah. So, but let's say they're swimming or mm-hmm. they're doing some school. Yeah. I still will say it's better for me to give the best of me to you by doing this every single day. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, man, once you do, I don't know, somebody said one time 21 days makes a habit. I don't know if that's true or not. I just know now that what I used to struggle to find the time to do, mm-hmm. I would agonize and struggle if I didn't find the time to do it now. Yeah. It's daily. The only day that I don't intentionally do a workout is Sunday. And still sometimes mm-hmm. I actually will get up and ride the bike before church. Yeah. Because it just gets me going.
Gets you 100%. Yeah.
So they have to know, a guy has to know, number one, okay, do I want to get up in the morning and get it done early? I don't. And the reason I don't,
I agree,
is because, man, I still love that first time with God. Mm-hmm. I get my coffee, I get on the back porch, it's dark, it's quiet, it's me and God. I just can't trade that. Yeah. I can't get to the gym and make that swap because I feel like I've gotten ahead of myself. But I know that if I have the tendency to slow down in the evening, and I've got kids, man, that don't know mm-hmm. that when I walk in at 4:00, how smashed I am. Yeah. They're running to the door and hanging over me. They're ready to swim and do this and do that. Mm-hmm. Great. Okay. Well, let me go to the gym real quick and get it done. So I would say that's awesome. Those two things are the major changes I made to make it happen. Then I go to bed early.
Yeah.
I don't stay up on it. And then don't lay around on your phone or shows or screens in the evening, man. It's going to hurt your ability to go to sleep.
100%. Throws off your circadian rhythm. Yeah, you got to get off the screens. I would say ideally 2 hours, like you were saying, ideally 2 hours before you go to bed. And my schedule is very similar. My target's like 7 hours. Like last night I got 6, so tonight I'm going to try and get 7 to 8 to try to make up for that. But yeah, same thing, get up at 5 a.m. I read with my coffee. I was at jiu-jitsu by 6:30, trained, did ice bath, sauna, went back home, worked on some stuff. I'm here. So like, you know, it's just kind of doing the things that you know are necessary. And then I'll say this too, like I used to get in this habit, and I don't know if you've ever been the same way, but my wife's a night owl and she'd like to stay up late. And so if I want to spend time with my wife, then I got to lose sleep. All right. And then I got to wake up late because I can't sacrifice too much sleep. But that's where leadership comes in.
Yep.
So when I started going to bed early and I was just like, hey, you do what you got to do. I got to go to sleep because I got to get up at 5 a.m. She started coming to bed early.
Yep. Right.
And so that's that whole leadership role. Yep. And our kids are in bed every night, 7:30 to 8 o'clock. Typically they can read books or whatever. But that's how we have some time in the evening.
Exactly.
And then I just got to cut it off and just say, I'm going to bed. And she's completely changed her schedule now.
100%.
So that she can get up early so she can have time before the kids most days to have her coffee and read her Bible. And I think that's just a whole nother element to being a strong dad with that leadership.
That's exactly right. And here's the thing. Your kids, if you let them, I mean, they're going to control not only your eating, they're going to control your everything. I'm there for my kids. My kids are absolutely 100% my priority, no doubt. But they don't run my life.
Yeah.
So you're bringing out a powerful point. How many families are exhausted, starving for husband-wife time, personal reading time, because they have no boundaries on their kids when they go down or whatever?
That. There's a good book on that.
There is. Yeah. Hello. I believe
it's just called Boundaries in Kids, Boundaries in Marriage, Boundaries. We've read them all.
Boundaries general.
We recommend them to every parent.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, you've got to be able to get those kids. They have to be trained. When I look at Braxton, our youngest, who's about to turn 5, and I say, buddy, look, man, you've got to go to your room and you're going to have some reading time. In his case, coloring time because he can't read yet. You're going in there, and if it keeps popping out, it's going to be a thing where, okay, you can't do that again, or there's going to be consequences. Yeah. I've got to stick to that because I do need time with my wife.
Yeah.
She is busy working with home and food prep and all that all day long. She needs time with me. I need time with her. And so for us, when we put the kids down, we turn the screens off. We usually go to our back porch and our rocking chairs. And sometimes it's just sitting there. Sometimes it's a conversation about the day. But if my kids run my life, they run how I eat, they run my schedule, they stay up till 11 o'clock at night.
It'd be chaos. Everything's out of control.
It's just nuts, man. So Dad, man, you got to have control over it on all levels. And somebody's got, at some point, somebody has to just put their foot down and say, we haven't done this well. We haven't done this right.
Yes.
We had to do it with our eating. I mean, it was just like, Ange, look, this is not right. This is not good. Let's fix this together.
Yeah. Owning it.
Yeah, owning it.
Owning it and not blaming, be like, oh, how come you're not buying healthier food? How come we're not fit? Yeah. It's just owning it as dads. Just
that's
own
right.
it. If you have a wild child, own it.
Own it.
You probably haven't done as good a job parenting as you could have. And I know it's kind of health, but this revolves all around the strong dad mentality of the direction of where I'm going is building strong leaders that are disciplined, is just owning life and optimizing it for you so that you can be exactly where you need to be, like where God called you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I love it, Dan. Well, thanks, man. You got any final word for the group?
Yeah. I mean, if this struck a chord with anyone, I would say just, look inwardly, ask yourself a question, take that time, just be like, how are you leading your family right now? Are you leading them with the discipline that you would like to see? Or are you kind of like in the name of serving others, have you kind of like let your health go? I think I can't speak to it personally because there's a lot of people that are in ministry and you guys have very busy schedules. And that's why I want to talk to you about your time and how you manage it, because I think it's potentially easy to say, well, I don't have time for this. And we need to make the time.
Absolutely.
We need to make the time and we need to create those habits and the discipline because it's our responsibility to do it. And if it's hard, do it anyways. And I know I haven't talked about it, but you mentioned jiu-jitsu and I'm big into jiu-jitsu. And I feel like that's been a huge changing point for me mentally is like doing things that are uncomfortable. Because let me tell you, there are times in jiu-jitsu where it is very uncomfortable and you're arguably fighting for your life in situations, and you have to put in the effort and you have to figure out a way to do this, and you just have to own it. And if you get submitted and you have to tap out, you have to own that. Like there's no ego on that. And so I think, I'm not putting a pitch for jiu-jitsu.
Let me tell you something I loved about it. So we're jumping to the kickboxing part, at least that much. And coach came around when we and you were doing something together. I think we were doing burpees, and he looked at me and said, he calls me Dad. He said, "Hey Dad, hey, if you throw up, I'll clean it up. But if you throw up and then quit, you can clean it up."
Yeah. That's good. I heard that. Yeah.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
I need that, man. And I would advise you on a fitness thing, find something that's fun and find something that works for you.
And for the family.
Ideally, that's why we're doing that
together. Yeah.
And I know you've been trying to talk me into this for a year. I'm finally caught on. But I will say, for me, one of the reasons I love Peloton ride is because I jump in with a group and I'm racing, I guess, about, a couple hundred people, and I'm trying to finish. I'm trying to beat my best score, best output. And it gives me something to think about, or some group class, some fitness thing. Man, sometimes that really helps, because if you just tell somebody you just need to go out and start running, that may be a whole lot more challenging. Now, you should do it. If that's all you can do it. But I think sometimes I don't want to quickly overlook that there's a lot of fun that can be had with friends. And I know Angie's loving being with Ash. I want to say one more thing about I love what you guys are doing right now with your social media. Not just you, but your wife.
Yeah.
And I mean, I specifically have been watching the last week, so I want to encourage everybody to catch Dan. And when you catch Dan, you'll easily connect to Ash there too, to just see, like the thing she did about the library the other day. I thought was great. I mean, she's just putting stuff out there about how she's managing the kids in a healthy, active framework.
Yes.
And you're obviously leading the way there. It's admirable. But I love how you guys together are just demonstrating to the world that your family matters, that your health matters, and that you're taking ownership of it. So I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I think life is so much simpler than I thought it was for so many years. And if you just give it to God and give him the reins and do the best of your ability with where you're at, with what you have, and don't worry about, we constantly see all this green grass everywhere and other people's lives and how happy they are. If you just cut that off, I mean, there's benefits to that, and it can be useful, but cut it off, look inward, work on your family, work on yourself, the healing process. There's so many, I mean, life is amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
And God has built this beautiful life. And if you're married, you have a wife, and if you have kids, you have kids, and just pour into them, and you will get that return.
I mean, is there anything at the end of the day more valuable than, 1, your relationship with God, 2, your relationship with your family, and 3, the health to do it all?
Yeah.
That, I mean, man, if you have those 3 things in check, you're right with the Lord, you're faithful to church, you're walking with him, you're doing things right with your family, and your health is in check, you're gonna be measurably happier.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think we're chasing it. You notice what wasn't in there, this certain career, this certain amount of money, this we all know we need money to operate, but I'm just saying, what are we chasing?
Yeah.
What are we pursuing? From a ministry perspective, I think for years, for me, it was, just, thinking about a bigger, better, even our church, like bigger, better. No, man, what's bigger and better is love God, love my family, and be faithful in my health and with my church. And it just brings great joy.
Which doesn't mean complacency.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
No.
We should still be improving and optimizing and all these things, but being content with, and I mean, you probably put that together better than I would. I think a lot of people confuse like contentment with, and complicity with, oh, well, if I need to joy with where I'm at, then my health is just where it's at, or my family's just where it's at. I need to try to enjoy it. God didn't put your family in there to be a tax to you. It should really be a joy to you. So if your family's taxing to you, or your health is taxing to you, or your nutrition's taxing to you, like, fix it.
Yeah. Psalm 127 says, the faithful man, his home and his table, his kid, his wife is like a fruitful vine, and his kids are like blossoms. It's like it's this picture of health and life and joy. And in the home of a good man, a faithful man that loves God, his family's going to thrive. And that's what we're looking for. You know, Angie put this writing up on our wall. You probably seen it at our house, but it says, the most important work you ever do will be within the four walls within the walls of this home. And she put it up there. I mean, she plastered up there for just us, the visual reminder. I see it every day. And it's true. And because to think about it, do the reverse. Let's do the reverse. You don't invest in your family.
Yeah.
You don't invest in your relationship with God, and you don't invest in your health.
Yep.
What do you have? Do you have anything that matters?
No.
Absolutely not, man. Absolutely not. Guys, hey, listen, check out Dan. Again, the links to Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, and his email address, and the assessment form if you're interested in talking to Dan about, as a man, grabbing hold of your life, pulling some things back together. Dan, thanks, man. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, man. Love you, brother. And we'll see you next time on Church Advance Podcast.